Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. This is Ed Crow. I appreciate you coming on with me today. I have 1 o'clock. I think we'll get started. I know we have some people coming on. Today we're going to talk about Medicare agency recruiting meetings and how to run them. We've been doing a number of them with our agencies to help them pick up additional agents. They've been working really well, and we've certainly learned a bunch of things along the way as we've been doing them. A couple things before we get started. We can get into it today. We do record all our webinars, so if for future reference, if you want to watch a webinar, that's fine. If you want to watch one but can't make the time, if you just register, you'll get the recording because we send the recording out to everyone that registers, so you'll get that. Secondly, if you have any questions along the way, just send them into the webinar and I will address them at the end and try to answer them for you. And thirdly, we do webinars, usually 2 a week, every Wednesday and Thursday at 1 o'clock. Once in a while, we'll just do one or sometimes none if there's too many conflicts with my schedule. But we try to do them consistently. All our webinars are recorded. If you want to watch any of our past webinars, and we have a lot of them, you can go to youtube.com, Crow and Associates, C-R-O-W-E and Associates, so youtube.com, Crow and Associates, and we have all our recorded webinars on YouTube. So it's probably the easiest and quickest way to access them. So we'll get started here. Today we're going to talk about, again, Medicare agency recruiting meetings. As I mentioned before, we've been doing a lot of them. Kind of got it down at this point, so we know what needs to be done to make them successful, and I'm going to run over that with you today. So we'll talk about the actual event, picking a venue, the presentation that you would give to the agents that attend, materials that we suggest, ways to drive attendance, carriers, if you're going to involve them or not, and then follow-up that you can do. So let's go with our steps to get started. So basically, again, these meetings are for an agency, a GA, an MGA, an SGA that wants to grow. They want to add sub-agents in their state, in their area, maybe perhaps. And to get started, the first thing to know is you need, I wrote 4 to 6 weeks lead time. I'd recommend 6. What happens is you schedule these events. There's a lot of things that need to take place to be prepared for them, to get the attendance that you need, and it goes quicker than you think. So 4 is probably tight. I'd say at least 6 weeks. Ramp up time. Give yourself plenty of time to recruit agents, get them to your event, and be ready. Because there's nothing worse than a recruiting event where you maybe include the vendors, you do all this preparation, and then you have no agents attending or very few. So ramp up time is important. How Crow and Associates can help, I'm going to talk about that along the way, but as you'll see, we have a seminar vendor that we use that can help with your attendance a great deal, and we will split the cost of that vendor with you. And, depending on the situation, we can also help out in some other areas financially as well. But certainly on the vendor side that we use to help drive attendance to these meetings, we will certainly help you with the cost of that. Usually when we do these meetings, what we suggest is you can do one of a couple things. You can have a meeting where you have 2 sessions, same information at both, but you do 2 different times. So usually we say to do a lunch and then an evening meeting, a dinner and cocktail hour reception kind of thing. Some people, if they said to me, well, I just want to do one, I would say to do the cocktail hour one. You tend to get more agents, people that are active in writing and busy during the day, and they will tend to want to come to the evening session because they don't have appointments during the day. But nothing wrong with doing 2. Again, same venue, same location. You recruit to the same meeting and you just give them a choice. Do they want to come to the lunch or do they want to come to the cocktail hour? But you can have the same content at both. Choosing a good venue is really important. You need adequate parking. Parking is, we take it for granted, but parking is a big deal. Obviously, not just as insurance agents, but we all want to have the ability, make it easy for parking so we can just pull in. I mean, if you're going to do a location that's in a city, it's a little tougher, but you just definitely have to address the parking and make it obvious where people can park or how, or maybe it is, maybe their parking is taken care of or can be taken care of by the location. Well-known locations help, especially fun locations. I mean, if you want to do something that's an experience, that's great. Or if you're going to do a standard place, usually something that's well-known makes sense. We've had trouble in the past. Be careful about doing a new restaurant or new location or one that financially isn't doing well. We've actually had seminars before where from when we started planning the seminar, recruiting, the place has literally gone out of business in between. So, the better known the place, the more attendance usually you'll get. Like, for example, a couple months ago, we did ours at Mohegan Sun Casino. It was a great event, well attended, and everybody knew where it was. And people tend to travel further. I'll be willing to travel further if it's a desirable venue. Inviting carriers, we usually do. It's nice to have them there. Sometimes they will help out with the cost of the event. And the broker managers for the carriers like the opportunity to sit there, have a table at the meeting, and talk to the agents, before and after the meeting. As a result, we usually say to leave plenty of time if you're going to do lunch and cocktail hour, or just a cocktail hour. Leave plenty of time during the meeting for agents who attend to talk to the carriers. Okay, really the most obviously it's important to set up the event well, but you got to have people there. I've been to some events in the past where everything was set up beautifully, but you just didn't have a lot of agent attendance. And I was there for an organization. We did an event not affiliated with us, but a large organization had an event recently, and it was beautiful, but there's hardly any agents there. So that makes that's important, and it's really can lead to, especially if you have carriers there, it can lead to a little bit of an embarrassing situation if you get everything set up and nobody shows up. So we use a seminar vendor with our agencies to help them drive attendance. They will certainly get you people there, but you cannot just rely on them. In the past, we've had agencies that have just relied on the vendor, and the numbers are low. You got to do something to subsidize that because they're just not going to be able to get you enough. There's never enough, but they can, they'll help for sure. So in addition to the seminar vendor that will work with you, they will send mailer invites out. They have very good agent lists. They will send mailer invites out to everybody in the state, for example, or if you're in a big state and within a general vicinity that you want of the seminar. In addition to that, we will do email blasts for you. If you have the capability to do your own email blast, you absolutely should. But both Crow and Associates and Pinnacle have lists. We have agent lists, and we can do email blasts for you. But if you're the agency and you're holding the recruiting event, we'll certainly do the blasts for you, but we definitely want a template from you of what you want that email to look like. We can give you suggestions, but it's something you got to take the initiative and say, okay, I want to do blasts. I want to send them from Crow and Pinnacle. Here's what I'm thinking. You can give us the format, and we can put it in something that looks nice for you. So we have that department at Pinnacle that can fix it up, make it look good. But we definitely need you to take the initiative there and give us the information that you want to promote. We'll do social media. I said social media blast. It's really not the proper term, but we'll put the event on social media. Facebook, Crow, and Pinnacle both will do paid Facebook ads for you. But again, you got to take the initiative, say, hey, I want to put this on Facebook. Certainly put it on your own Facebook as well. But we can have it from 3 organizations promoting your event in your recruiting meeting. Word of mouth is still big. I know the agencies we have that get the biggest attendance, they do all the things above, but they also get on the phones and they start calling agents and inviting them to the event. They have a quick summary of the highlights of it, invite them to the venue. So word of mouth is really still a big driver. So if you've got the person power, certainly get on the phone a couple weeks or even more than that before the event and just start calling agents and inviting them makes a lot of sense. We also, with that, strongly recommend that you call people who have RSVP'd for the event. You call and confirm a couple days before that they can attend, see if they have any questions. When you use our seminar vendor, you'll get all the contact information for everybody who's RSVP'd for the event. Go back to one other quick thing. Our seminar vendor, the way they set it up is if you have 2 times at your event, You can set a limit of how many people you want to attend, and if the first time or the second time fills up, it will automatically, the registration link will automatically only allow them to register for the event that still has room. And again, you can see everybody on there who registers, so you'll have all their contact information as well. So if you're going to have these events, you need a presentation. We usually do the same one for both the lunch meeting and the cocktail hour or dinner meeting if we're doing two. Ideally, the presentation should be about 50 minutes. Longer than that can be pretty counterproductive. I would say you lose people. And again, a lot of us as agents are busy. Really, 50 minutes to an hour is about the most we want to sit and listen for. So you got to make the presentation about 50 minutes long. I would get right to the point, talk about the value that you're going to provide to them as an agent, and kind of cut out all the fluff, I would say. Definitely need to provide handouts. Most agencies will have a packet, a folder, and they'll have various handouts. We certainly can give you suggestions on what those handouts can be. We have a lot of them pre-made that could be tailored to your agency, with your logo and that type of things. The handouts can talk about various benefits that you will discuss in the presentation, such as, just follow-up information in the folder, such as our free lead program, which you can use to recruit agents with. Free agent website. We now do make websites for agents. The T65 seminar program, same vendor, by the way, that recruits for this meeting. We do T65 seminars for, we're averaging about 70 people per seminar on the T65. It's been a huge boon for us, writing T65 business. Connector, Sunfire, Medicare Bot. We have all three enrollment platforms at no cost agents. So anything we offer, Crow or Pinnacle, if you're working with us, you can offer it as well. For example, the lead program, Crow fully funds that. Agencies can promote it like their own. They can offer agents free leads, money towards leads every month, and it's on our dime at Crow, so it doesn't cost you anything. It wouldn't make sense not to promote it. And then maybe anything else you want to offer as value that your agency is providing to agents, in addition to the stuff that they can access through Pinnacle and Crow and Associates. So again, the presentation, you need to show value to the agent. So the people coming, they get contacted by a lot of uplines. The whole strategy here is to show them that we're offering them more value than another upline would be. And again, showing these various programs we have, we usually are able to make a pretty compelling case as to why they would want to work with us versus somebody else they're working with or somebody else they could go work with. When you're recruiting agents, you've got to decide basically, are you going to work with only existing agents, or are you also going to work with brand new people, brand new to sales? If you're going to work with people that are brand new to sales, you certainly need to do a lot, put a lot of time into them. They need guidance. A brand new person who isn't licensed, the odds are very low they're going to ever be a productive agent unless they get guidance. And I suggest at the least having a guide for them of the steps they need to take. And you want to schedule, if not personal meetings, you'd want to schedule, pretty consistent phone calls with them to keep them going, help them guide through the process, and give them an idea of what they do to write business. Same thing with existing agents. There's a lot of existing agents out there that are really looking for advice on how to get writing business. The best practices, the best methods to be productive. Staying in touch with them, working with them, coming up with a game plan is the way to help them get started, because a lot of people just don't know how to get started in the first place. We can certainly customize documents for the meeting. For example, I'll show you an example in a minute, but I have, Crow has a flyer that basically lists all the benefits we offer. We can tailor that towards your agency with your logo, your contact information. We have a lot of other documents that are kind of pre-made, again, could be custom to you, that you could put in your folder. Things such as technology we offer, like Connector, Sunfire, Medicare Bot, various things. Personal branding we do for websites, for materials, Medicare 101, life and annuity information. We have a number of flyers, and you could work with us to say, we'd say, well, here's what we have, and you could decide what you want to put in that folder is information to give to those agents after the presentation and the meeting is done. So if you're an agency you're going to recruit, I just want to do a quick run through the contracting levels. Obviously, you have street with Medicare, but then from an agency standpoint, you have the GA, the MGA, and the SGA. Those are the three prominent levels. People ask me the question a lot, do I need a licensed entity, like an LLC or an S Corp, to be one of these levels? In most cases, no. Most of the carriers will allow an individual recruited agent or an individual licensed agent to be one of these levels if they meet the qualifications. So obviously, each level has an override level from the carrier applicable to it. And the first two levels, for example, it's really based on subagents. So we can give somebody a GA if they meet the carrier's requirement for the minimum amount of subagents. With a lot of companies, it's 2 subs, so yourself plus 2 licensed and ready to sell with that company subagents. With some, it's 5. Some of the carriers, if they say 5, they let us put it in at a GA with 3 or 4, but you've got to get yourself up to 5 as quick as you can. MGA is usually 10 subagents. So MGA level obviously is a higher override. It's a level above GA, and most of the carriers are going to say 10. Some will allow it to go in with a little less than that, but ultimately they want to see 10 subs that are contracted and ready to sell with their company for us to be allowed to give you an MGA level. And then certainly you have SGA. SGA is 20 subs in most cases, and usually that's not very flexible at all. So for us to give out an SGA level, which we're happy to, but you'll need to have 20 subs, and usually there's not much wiggle room with that. So most of this is based on, to get an agency contract level, it's based on subs, not necessarily production. GA, MGA, you can have light production, but if you got the subs, we can put you there. For SGA, you need the minimum subs, and then production starts to come into play there as well. So when you're going to contract agents, they come to your meeting, on the follow-up, it's really important that they understand how they would contract. And what we usually do with our agencies is we have an electronic contracting link and we have a paper kit. You can use both. And I would say the most important thing there is when you bring in subs, you got to communicate with us, let us know, all right, I've got this sub filling out the online contracting link. They're going to work under us. They're going to be a street agent paid direct, or they're going to be a commission assignment or LOA, but the communication's got to be there. And you've got to make it obvious for those agents that attend your seminar where they can go to get their contracting done. And we usually say on your follow-up, you're going to email them both the contracting kit or the link for electronic contracting. Keep in mind about non-resident states as an agency. If you're going to you recruit an agent who says, I'm licensed in 30 states. For them to get appointed with a carrier and for you to get overrides, you and or your agency both need to be licensed in those states that they're in, those non-resident states. It's the only way you're going to be able to let them get contracted in the first place, and it's the only way you're going to collect overrides. So you got an agent who sells in South Dakota, if you have an agency, need to be licensed and ready to sell in South Dakota for them to get contracted and for you to get overrides. Mention the non-resident appointment fees. There are carriers that do pass on the non-resident appointment fees, so the agent and yourself would pay those. So if you get an agent who wants to work with a carrier, they want to be appointed in 30 states, we have a grid for it. You want to look and see if that carrier pays the non-resident appointment fees for them or if they're going to pass them on and make them pay them. That can be a big issue because it can add up to a lot of money. So sometimes agents will add a carrier that passes on the non-resident appointment fees in 25 states, not knowing that they're going to owe a lot of money when you add all those up together. So when you have your event, you got to decide if you're going to invite carriers. Usually, if you do, you'll have them set up a table. You'll have them give giveaways. Now, maybe you've got 2 main carriers you tend to write a lot, and that your agents will. You could invite them. You could invite multiple carriers. It's up to you. That's your decision. But you have to decide kind of early on which ones you're going to invite. Have them bring giveaways for sure. If that carrier is going to support you, meaning if you write their product, you rate that carrier a lot. Some of them will have money they can help put towards your event to help offset the cost in addition to the money that we put into it for you. And again, you want to leave time for presentations in between the two presentations, if you're doing two of them or one of them, you want agency there early enough so they have time to chat with the carriers that you're going to have there with tables, because the carriers are certainly going to help them and want to talk to them. And I've had a couple events I've gone to where there just hasn't been time left open for people just to walk around and talk to the carriers. All right, so you have your seminar. Maybe you do a dinner, a cocktail hour, only one. That's fine. People have some drinks, they get food, or maybe they get food first. Watch the presentation, give them some time to talk to the carriers. You have some cocktails. That's fine. Or maybe you're doing the two sessions where you do lunch and the dinner. Either way, a follow-up is really important. So you will have the people that register through this seminar company, you will have all their contact information. Strongly suggest having a sign-in sheet. That way you can email and follow up with these agents. You can email them a copy of the presentation, email them the contracting link, and also email, importantly, a summary of the benefits and the value you provide to them. The things you talked about on the presentation at the seminar, send them a follow-up to remind them of bullet points about what's available. You really need, in other words, to stay engaged with them, to stay in touch with them, stay engaged so they can reach out to you. If they want a contract, they can. And then more importantly, or maybe as important, once they contract, you've got to continue to work with them, stay engaged with them to help them increase their production. All of the programs I've mentioned, like our free lead program, our seminar program for T65s, Connect Your Sunfire, Medicare Bot, free agent websites, I didn't even mention Best Plan Pro for final expense. If you want to see reviews of all those things and run-throughs of them, I have them webinars on all of them. They're on YouTube, so you go to youtube.com, Crow & Associates, and you can see recorded webinars on all these various programs, the lead program, anything we offer basically. There are videos, recorded webinars. They're all short, 15 or 20 minutes on everything we offer, just so you can get familiar, because anything we offer, you can offer to agents. That's what I had today. It was a quick rundown. Just wanted to give you an idea. As I mentioned, we do a lot of recruiting seminars for agencies. Some more successful than others, but really it all comes down to the effort that they put into helping drive attendance, being prepared. We can give you the outline, the blueprint for all of this. We can assist you and help. But the one thing that we can't do is put the work in. We can help, but it really takes a little time, effort, and planning, and really just the general hard work to make sure you get enough people at your seminar to make it productive. So keep in mind, anybody that registered, I will send a recording of this webinar out to you, so you will certainly get it. I'm going to look and see if we have any questions. All right, so let's see. We do have a question. The question is, would it make sense for an agent holding this meeting to bring another agent whose primary singular expertise is life annuities, IUL, to use this service as an additional upline benefit? Certainly. Certainly could bring another agent who writes a different line of business. I think that would make a lot of sense. They can also learn. I mean, usually we focus these meetings mostly on Medicare, although obviously we offer, all products, but your agency, it's up to you. You can access anything through us, or maybe you get your final expense or your other products through another upline. That's fine. But I certainly don't think it hurts. In fact, sometimes we have meetings with just final expense. We target just final expense producers and talk to them about Medicare. So yeah, it's a good question, and I think it certainly makes sense. There's another part of the question. I think there was a question about splitting commissions. You can do that with some products. With Medicare, you can't, especially with Advantage and Part Ds. But yeah, overall, it makes sense to bring agents who are interested in other lines of business. Do we have any other questions? Let's see here. It looks like that's our only one. I ran a little over today. I'm about 25 minutes in. But I appreciate you attending today. We do have a webinar tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So if that's something you're interested in attending, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. That email invite will go out for that webinar, and Other than that, I appreciate your time today, and thanks for coming on. Have a great day.